Hi guys, this is a quick little tutorial that shows you how to move and rotate images in Google Slides. In this case, we are trying to solve this multiplication puzzle by matching the question to the answer in order to create this larger triangle shape. And to start solving this, the students will first solve the multiplication table over here, digitally of course, and multiplying by the tens first, carry the ones, and then 3 times 6 is 18, add the 1 is 19. And so this way now the student knows that 32 times 6 happens to be 192. This activity is kind of neat because the student self-checks all along the way as they are working through these puzzles. All right, so, oops, I'm getting ahead of myself. So now that I know 192 matches up with 32 times 6, one of the shapes needs to be rotated, right? Either I rotate the shape 180 to match this, or I do it vice versa. And so in this case, I'm just going to drag this over here. So how do I do this? I hover my mouse over the shape that I want to move, click it, and then you see this blue box. This shows that this shape is ready to be moved. Moreover, take a look at the mouse. It actually has this four-way arrow, and that is the ultimate symbol that shows you that you are able to move the shape. So in this case, I'm going to rotate this 32 times 6 to the bottom. And how do I rotate it? On top of the shape, once you've selected it, there is this blue quote antenna. I'm just going to call it the blue antenna. This blue antenna allows you to rotate the shape if you use your mouse to click on the blue antenna, and as you can see automatically it says 0.0 degrees. That means that you are rotating the shape, and you can either rotate clockwise or you can rotate counterclockwise. So the student will keep rotating and rotating, and this takes a little bit of practice, and take a little bit of practice, and the student will just try to rotate it the best, rotate it until they're happy. Okay, so as you can see, this is off. Let's rotate it a little bit more. Okay, looks pretty good. And now let's hover the mouse again over the shape, and let's try our best to match it. Okay. Now, this is one way to do it. There's actually a neater way to do it. So as you can see, you can do this, and then the student will do their best to try to match it by dragging and dropping with their mouse, dragging the shape so it matches this multiplication question to the answer. And there you go, you have it. So let's do another one. So 50 times 5. It happens to be, well, 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 5 is 25. That means that this puzzle piece, I have to align this puzzle piece to match this answer. And again, I hover my mouse over the 50 times 5, I bring it closer to this answer, and I start rotating it. And I'm going to try my best to rotate it to fit it. And then I'm going to try my best to align it. And all right, oh, see, I'm off a little. All right, so then I'm going to go back, use the same trick, click on the blue antenna, try to rotate it little by little, and oh, I over rotate it. And then I'm going to keep adjusting this until I get the answer. And as you can see, it sometimes takes a couple more practice, and it might frustrate the student a little bit. So here in the next little bit, I'm actually going to talk about a more straightforward way to do it. Now, rather than rotating it based on tenths of degrees, what the student can do is, if they can hold down the shift key and hover their mouse over the blue antenna, again holding down the shift key, it actually rotates the shape based on 15 degrees. Okay, so in this case, if this was at 0, it rotates by 15. 15, 30, 45, 60, 60. Here is a neat little trick. Hold down the shift key while you press onto the antenna and you rotate. And this allows you to rotate by 15 degree intervals. So it goes 15, 30, 45, 60, etc., 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 etc. And this makes it so much more straightforward to rotate it way more accurately, okay? And in this case, we didn't need it to go clockwise. We could have gone counterclockwise, but just for this video's sake, I'm just going to show you that you can keep rotating it while holding down the shift key and keep rotating it. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost matching the sides. And there you go. Again, I have rotated. It looks pretty good. Now I need to move the shape and align it. Now, you can move it two ways. Again, you hover your mouse over this and manually do it by hand. Okay, and try to rotate it based with the mouse. That's one way you can do it. Okay, the other way you can do it is to actually use your arrow keys. Okay, so I just went Control Z to kind of go back a couple of steps just so you can kind of see the other neat trick. So you're gonna use your mouse. You're gonna use your keys to kind of select down and to kind of try to match it. And that I sometimes find it works quite well. But as you can notice, it is off by a little bit. So how do you perfectly align that? So let's see, if I go down, does this work? It is off by a little bit. Okay, again, here is another trick. If you hold down the shift key while you actually rotate, it rotates. If you hold down the shift key, as you can see, it doesn't perfectly align. Here's a neat little trick. As you hold down the shift key and you use the up, down, left, right arrow key, it actually moves the shape so incrementally small that it allows you to perfectly align your shapes together. And that's it. I hope you've learned a little bit about how do you rotate shapes.